Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Genie Plus is leaving. The Country Bears are returning to Critter Country. D23 shopping is announced.
D23 Day at Disneyland details, some new retro Disneyland hotel merch. We talked to illustrator Casey Robin and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please, lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of July 24th, 2024. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Tig Bushman. We'd like to thank everyone who supports the show this week. We would like to give a special shout out to Matthew J., Liberty M., Stephanie F., and Ronnie H. If you would like to help support the show and get an ad-free version of each episode, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
The day this episode goes live, Genie Plus will be gone in its name only. Taking its place is Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass. Otherwise, the system will continue to work as it had previously. Basically, name change to try and clear up any confusion.
By making it more confusing, but that's okay.
I don't think it's more confusing. I think it makes more sense because before you had to buy, there was Genie and there was Genie Plus, and you needed Genie Plus to get the Lightning Lanes, but not all Lightning Lanes were with. See,
so what I'm gonna okay. So why couldn't they, since they were doing some name changes, why couldn't they call like the multi-pass thing, like I don't know.
I think they were
Lightning Lane, and then the single one, something totally different.
Oh, sure. Like Premier Pass or
something. I don't know. It just, whatever. I will say this Genie Plus thing is going into effect on my birthday, so in a way, Disney is giving me what I've asked for, which is get rid of Genie Plus, but like all the memes online, no, not like that.
Yeah, no, not like that. Not quite.
But
just a name only.
Something we did not ask for, but I am very excited for this next story. Mm-hmm. The Hungry Bear restaurant in Critter Country closed with the rest of the land on July 8th. When it reopens, it will be the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree. The location will feature the bears from the Country Bear Jamboree's favorite barbecue, and with some of the greatest hits from the Country Bears playing in the dining area. The menu and track listing haven't been revealed yet, but we will let you know as soon as it does. I can't.
This should not be that big and that exciting of a thing, but it is. And it is because the Country Bears have a history in Disneyland that some people might not even know about, because it's been a while since the Hungry Bears were, or the Hungry Bears, they are hungry too, but the Country Bears were living in Critter Country. What is currently Winnie the Pooh used to be the Country Bear Jamboree in Disneyland. And now the attraction itself is not coming back.
Yeah, so August 24th, 2001 is when it closed.
Yeah, so the Country Bears have not been performing at Disneyland for quite some time. So really, to me, this is stupidly exciting in the fact that the restaurant was loosely themed around the Country Bears, I'd say. There wasn't anything blatantly obvious. If you looked at the bathrooms on the lower level, though, those did have Country Bears, like the Country Bear characters incorporated into the restroom. And I think that there was some hints of Country Bears in the decor behind like the order taking windows too. But it was just kind of generically Country Bears, not specifically Hungry Bears. So it's really exciting because they could have used this time to erase the Country Bears from Critter Country, but no, instead they chose to bring the Country Bears back and even put it in, put them like full front. They're the ones in charge of the menu and all sorts of fun. Plus, the other fun fact, barbecue. A barbecue joint is coming back to the Disneyland
Which is the first
parks.
time there's been barbecue since the Frontierland barbecue. I can't remember what the official name was, but it went away. Oh, the Big Thunder barbecue.
Big Thunder Ranch.
It went away when Galaxy's Edge was built. So, yes, we do have some barbecue back. Now, in general, are you a barbecue fan?
I am. I'm really curious to see what they come up with, because the menu is based on things that the country bears have tasted during their travels. So it's going to be different, different type, barbecue from different areas, different regions. So I'm really curious to see what this menu is going to look like.
Me too. One thing that always seems to be on barbecue things are like ribs, and I'm not like a ribs fan. So I'm like, hopefully there'll be something better.
Have things like ribs, like, have you seen those? We have them at our grocery store where they call them ribs on a stick, where it's just like pork that they've poked like a skewer through.
Sure.
So it's a little not quite as messy as like a true rib is. They might have stuff like that. Vern's really excited to see if they have any vegan options for barbecue dishes, which they fully could do. So I'm really curious. I feel like they will. I have high hopes. Don't let me down, Disney. I have high hopes. But yeah, I'm super curious. And I think this means, too, that the country bears will be back in the parks, probably doing meet and greets in Critter Country, whereas there wasn't really a reason for them to be hanging out in Critter Country before. They were meeting and greeting over in California Adventure for a little while, but now
find
they have
it
a reason.
Really interesting that, let's say 2 years ago, whenever they announced the redo in Disney World, like before that, like the country bears were not on anybody's radar, and all of a sudden they're like making a huge push again.
This is what I think is the thing with the country bears. I felt like the country bears weren't on Disney's radar at all, but they were still in the fans' radar. Because I remember when we went to Disney World back in the fall of 2020, we went and watched Country Bear Jamboree, and I remember thinking like, this this is so fun, it's so unique, and it's so Disney, but this attraction desperately needs some TLC. It felt like it had kind of been forgotten by Disney, but it hadn't been forgotten by the fans. So it's cool that I'm choosing to believe that Disney realized that there's like a big fan community that love the country bears, and so they're like, you know what? We need to give them some TLC and do stuff. But I did not have Country Bear Barbecue Restaurant on my bingo card for things I thought could have been announced. I'm surprised they didn't announce this for D23, but still, I did not think that this was not on my bingo card.
They should. They could do something backstage. Maybe they should bring back the Country Bear Jamboree.
They might.
Like, don't touch Winnie the Pooh, because I have to say that.
It's so cute.
Otherwise,
though.
I will be getting a divorce, because James will divorce me if I say get rid of Winnie the Pooh.
But I think that Winnie the Pooh and the Country Bears can both exist.
Right, but the Country Bears are in the building.
I know. Yep. Winnie the Pooh took over where the Country Bears were.
So what I'm saying is they'd have to build a new thing.
Yep. Yeah. I think they could both exist, though.
All right.
D23, the official Disney fan club, has announced the shopping experiences that will be available at the expo this year. Returning favorites like Mickey's of Glendale and Mickey's of Glendale's Pin Store are returning. New options include the Walt Disney Company store, with both a main store and a pin store location, and the Disney Studios store, Hollywood. Mobile checkout and virtual queues will be available at select locations. Be sure to check out the D23 app for details. Also, check the show notes if you are just super anxious and want to learn more about the shopping stuff. We have it linked in our show notes. The D23 app, as we last checked, it has not been uploaded with all of this year's current info, like the maps and all that, but definitely check out d23.com or the link in our show notes.
I wonder when that's going to be updated, because I keep saying it's coming.
Soon.
It's coming.
I feel like it's got to be soon.
Yeah, it's got to be soon. So I'm really excited for some of this stuff. They also have the World of Disney product experience, the D23 Marketplace. There's going to be a Disney Publishing, which Teresa is very excited for, because there is a brand new sip and shop experience.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot that's going to be there.
Speaking
it's going to be great.
Of Joffrey's, because that's the sip and shop experience, they're going to have, I saw announced that they're going to have a space on the show floor. Like, they're going to have a booth on the show floor. So
Joffrey's?
We're going over there.
At least one of us will be getting something from there for sure.
Well, we have to, but you like the smell of coffee, so they released this really beautiful. I just like the artwork on the bag. It's like a royal blue coffee bag with Sorcerer Mickey as like the icon on the front of it. It's so cute. I just need to bring 2 suitcases. I think I'm deciding this right now. I'm just going to pack a suitcase in a suitcase because really I just need one for my like clothes and things. But I should bring an extra suitcase just in case.
I'm going to say this now, and I'm sure that when we're there, it will change. But I'm going to take one suitcase just as a...
That's going to limit you?
Limit me. But I will not rule out that I may end up buying a second suitcase.
I'm just remembering our first ever D23 Expo
But it wasn't like that the
experience.
second year.
We ended up having to purchase a bag so that we could get a large bag so that we could get all of our things home. I mean, it was 4 of us in our defense. There were 4 of us that were needing extra space, so that's why it needed to be a large bag. But yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited. D23 is just so fun and so amazing. It's hard to not get excited to want to do all of the things. I'm excited personally for when the map comes out so we can kind of start figuring out like what our plan of attacks are going to be so we can kind of narrow down, okay, these are the important things because we're not going to be able to do all this stuff. Because, like, if there's things that are clustered together, it's easy to go boom, 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 then it's easy to do all those things. But if they're 3 complete opposite points that they could possibly be, maybe that's not going to happen. So I'm real excited to get the map so we can continue with the planning.
Well, a new experience is coming to Disneyland soon. D23 Day at Disneyland will have some limited time offerings on August 8th. A Disney Junior Let's Play party will be held, and... this is very exciting. While supplies last, a limited quantity of complimentary Mickey Mouse ear hats featuring the D23 Day at Disneyland logo will be handed to guests attending. A themed cavalcade will step off at 12:15 p.m. with 23 characters and Disney legends. There is so much more. Check out the link in our show notes for all of the details. What do you think about the ears? I know that's
They're so cute. I'm sorry, Tag. We're rope dropping just for those ears.
I agree. I want the ears as well.
I really like them. So the ears are the classic Mickey hat style, but the ears themselves are this like really beautiful teal color. The D23 Day logo is like a patch on the front, and it's purple and orange, and there's some pinks and that teal in there again. They're just really, it's this great fun pop of color. They just put a smile on my face.
I think they look nice. I really like the logo for the D23 Day at Disneyland because it's that kind of retro style, or whatever. The colors are great. I'm very excited for these. Like, I don't think I'll wear them around I'll wear them around in the park that day, I guess. But these will definitely be to me a collector's thing that I'll stick at home. But yeah, they've got some different characters that are going to be making limited time appearances, like Goofy and Max from Goof Troop. Yeah. And Lotso Huggin' Bear from Toy Story 3 will be there. Tomorrowland Terrace is going to have some different characters and a dance party.
I'm excited.
Lots of stuff.
There's a merchandise collection honoring the 25th anniversary of the film Tarzan that's also going to be premiering that day. If you were a fan of all of the fun medallions that started for the Disney 100 celebration, they have more medallions coming out.
I think I'm going to have to get these.
They have more medallions coming out.
Don't gloss over this.
No, I know. Well, I was gonna say this. From August 8th through 11th, you can search for 4 new medallions featuring the D23 Day at Disneyland Resort logo on one side and then Disneyland Resort artwork on the other. The thing that eagle-eyed fans have noticed is they have 4 pictured here. One is Tiana's Bayou Adventure, makes sense. One is the Haunted Mansion, also makes sense. But one looks like it may have someone may have accidentally sneaked and leaked out the 70th anniversary logo. I don't know if this is really the 70th anniversary because again, next year's Disneyland's 70th anniversary. I don't know. Do you think this is the logo?
I think so. It's got that classic like Disneyland look. I think so.
It reminds me a lot of what they did for the Imagineering logo. So that's why I'm not sure if... I don't know what else this could possibly be. What else would be 70 and Disneyland? It has to be the 70th.
It's got to be.
And then there's also one that has "To all who come to this happy place, welcome."
That one,
and
also
it's got a little clock from
It's a Small World.
From It's a Small World hidden in there too.
It's also got a monorail.
There is a monorail.
I I'm going to try to get all 4 of these because they're all really cool. The Haunted Mansion,
The
of
Haunted
course.
Mansion one looks really neat.
You know, Tiana, that's coming back. And then these 2 just Disneyland ones. Oh, I'm excited for these. But yeah, so it's going to be a really great day at Disneyland.
I'm also real excited about the cavalcade. Like, cavalcades are fun and energetic and like get everyone excited and happy and pumped up with characters. And this is going to be 23 characters and Disney legends. I mean, how cool. What do you have any predictions on who you think those legends are going to be?
I have no idea.
They might be some people that are going to like the newest class of Disney legends. So those are the folks getting officially awarded on the
because this would be a day that I feel like they would like come in, or the day before they would come in for the expo. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not putting anything out there because I just want to be surprised.
And
I'm really glad that you and I have reservations for the day.
We did. We secured our reservations right as soon as reservations opened. Boom, we were on there securing our spots. A never-before-seen character at the Disney parks will be making their debut July 26th. Deadpool will be in Avengers Campus meeting and greeting guests. He will also debut in Disneyland Paris on July 24th. Disney Parks posted some fun photos previewing the character on their social media accounts. These were hilarious.
They are very in the theme of Deadpool.
Yes.
And these photos have makes me... Well, here, you were excited because this one was in the Animation Academy.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
But the thing... Okay, I'm going to be real honest. When I first saw this on social media, I thought it was a promotion for... Because, the new film's coming out, the Deadpool Wolverine film. It didn't, even connect in my brain that it was Deadpool standing in front of the Pixar Pal Around was the first photo I saw. That didn't even, the dots didn't connect until a half a second later. I'm like, oh, and then I actually read what the post was about.
So somebody in the comments of these posts,
they did such a good job,
said, because all these are he's just kind of wandering around the California Adventure. Somebody said they need to not just leave him in Avengers Campus. He literally should just be wandering around and being Deadpool around the park.
You should even wander into Disneyland.
I think it'd be great if he would just randomly join people on rides.
Ooh.
Can you imagine if you're loaded on the Pixar Pal or the Pixar Pal Around, and he's just hey guys, and just rides along with you? I don't know. I'm very excited for this movie. I love Ryan Reynolds. I love Deadpool. The fact that he's going to be in the parks, I told James, you and I are going to have to try to find him somewhere because
Maybe he'll ride web slingers or draw at the Animation Academy.
Wouldn't that be cool?
We have photographic evidence that he did it once.
You would die. We would die if he was in the Animation Academy.
I do feel like I need to say, again, did not have this one on my bingo card. Yes, Disney and Marvel do now own the Deadpool franchise. I did not think that they would bring Deadpool into the parks because he is a pretty
R-rated character.
Not family-friendly character. So I was very, very, very surprised by this. But it's a limited time thing. I'm sure he will be his family-friendly self in the parks, 1,000%. But it's definitely to promote the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. So I'm a little sad we didn't get a Wolverine, too.
There's still time.
There is still time.
Fans of the retro style of the Disneyland Hotel can now sport it themselves. New merchandise is available at the Fantasia shop at the Disneyland Hotel. Options include a Ringer t-shirt, Spirit jersey, Tervis tumbler, and a lot more.
So some of this, I think, may have come out a little bit ahead of time because some of this looked familiar to me. Some of it looked brand new, like I'd never seen it before. I have already decided I don't know what it is about them, but I love Tervis tumblers. I get an iced coffee every day. I drink it out of a Tervis tumbler every day. I need this Disneyland Hotel Tervis tumbler to add to my rotation. I only have one that has my work logo on it, so I think it's only fair that I also get one that has a Disneyland Hotel logo on it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Disney math. I also really like that tiny suitcase. So perhaps if we don't bring a suitcase, we have an excuse to buy the tiny suitcase.
How tiny is this?
I don't know, but it looks cute. It looks like an old style suitcase where it's got, the handle on top. It doesn't have wheels on it. And it's like a briefcase suitcase, I guess would be the best way for me to try and describe that. Anything sticking out to you?
The suitcase is pretty cool. I'll give you that. I really like the shirt. Where is it? The Ringer T-shirt.
Yes.
I'm not usually a fan of like the Ringer shirt in general, but this one is fine. It has the monorail on it, of course. So,
it has the monorail
I'm very happy
slide.
about that. Is that the monorail slide?
I think that's the slide.
I feel like that's just well, whatever. It's got a monorail on it, depicted on it, which I think is really cool. I like this if it wasn't a Spirit jersey, because I'm just anti-Spirit jersey. I'm with you, though. This tumbler looks great. And actually, for the amount of detail and stuff on it, it's fairly well priced, $34.99. I feel like Travis tumblers, aren't they a little more pricey normally?
Oh, I take it back. You're right. It is just the monorail. It is not the monorail slide. On the other logos, it's much more obvious. So you're right. The monorail.
Yeah. What do you think of this ornament? I feel like the sorcerer hat ornament would also be kind of up your alley.
It's cute. I think it's very fun. And there's also an ornament that's of the hotel itself.
Yeah, I like the sorcerer hat one.
The Mickey and Minnie one. Yeah, it's cute.
Yep. I'm excited to see this stuff in person. Disney goes through these phases where they kind of knock it out of the park, and I feel like this is another one of those sets that like are very good.
Well, Cold Brew Lovers Unite. The coffee house at the Disneyland Hotel has 3 new versions on their menu. There's an Irish cream cold brew, a French roast cold brew, and a caramel mudslide nitro cold brew. Prices range from $6 to $7 for these.
All right, so I am not I love how I guess there's one that's an alcoholic version because they said non-alcoholic on one of the things here. But anyway,
because Irish cream could be alcohol.
Okay, I'm just going to navigate you through this because I don't have anything to say about cold brews. Thoughts on the Irish cream cold brew?
I want it. Well, we'll make it real easy. I want to try all of them.
Of course you do. Is there one that you're more excited about?
I think I'm most excited about the nitro cold brew, the caramel mudslide nitro cold brew, just because I, for some reason, haven't tried very many nitro cold brews.
Now, is it nitro because there's no ice in it?
So it's nitro because of how it's poured.
Oh.
It's in the pouring style more so than... But yeah, they do. You're right. It does not have ice in it. So it's like in a tap. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm really excited about that one because caramel mudslide, cold brew, yum. Sign me up for all of that. And then I think the one I'm excited...
That would be the one that I would try, by the way.
Yeah. I think the one that I'm next excited for is the Irish cream cold brew, followed by the French roast cold brew.
So the article we linked said that the Irish cream was their favorite. Wasn't overly sweet, so that's good. And it tastes like Kahlua coffee liqueur without alcohol, which I do like that flavor. So maybe I would like that as well. Well, good. You got some more cold brews.
I do. I have more cold brews.
Like you don't need more of those in your life. Well, cast members have overwhelmingly voted to strike at Disneyland, with 99% of the unionized cast members voting to strike due to unfair labor practices. 4 unions, representing 14,000 cast members at Disneyland Park, Disney California Adventure, Disney Hotels, and Downtown Disney, were able to vote. Negotiations with Disney will continue this week to see if a strike can be avoided.
So they were meeting... today and yesterday. So as this episode, this episode's poorly timed, as this comes out, they may or may not have reached an agreement. We don't know at this point while recording. But, a lot of people might not understand, what's happening or why this is going on. I found an article, I'll try and find it again to link it in our show notes, that interviewed a current cast member that's part of the union that is supporting the cause for this. And she basically was... The thing that spoke the loudest to me was she's worked at Disneyland, I think it was 4 decades, and she's currently making $23 an hour, whereas I think minimum wage is $20 or the starting wage is $20. So they're just wanting, which I don't feel is unfair. If you've been someplace that long, you should be making more than someone, you should be making more than $3 more than minimum wage. So... that's one of the big things that they're talking about. They're also talking about cast member safety, also guest safety is part of the concerns that they're coming to the table with. So it's not always just about pay, but to kind of, that was a really eye-opening thing to me because we've always heard, cast members aren't paid fairly. So it was really interesting to see actual
from
numbers.
A person's experience.
Yeah. And I mean, shout out to that person for being vulnerable to share that information. That's not an easy thing to share to, what's probably a national stage at this point, because I think a lot of people are kind of keeping an eye on this and how it kind of pans out.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they figure it out because Disney can afford to pay people more, and especially with the prices of everything now, there's no excuse for this. And as we've said multiple times on the show, the cast members make the magic.
Yeah.
Like, if you could go to Disneyland but there was no cast members, it would not feel as magical.
Yeah.
We felt that when there wasn't any entertainment. When it first reopened from COVID, there was attractions and stuff, but there was no entertainment, and it did feel less magical. And the entertainment is those cast members. So fingers crossed that hopefully by the time this episode posts, they've come to some agreement that they are happy with.
Well, the Hearthstone Lounge at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa has been refreshed. There is new paint in the location, which looks amazing, as well as an updated menu with artisan pizzas, sandwiches, and salads, and a selection of appetizers and entrees. There is also breakfast served at this location from 8 a.m. to 10:30.
Okay, so you got to school me. I've heard of this location, but I have no idea what this is. Is this like the location? Is this like the concierge level thing, or like what is this?
No, so this is just off. I've only been over there like once or twice. This is just off the lobby.
I have never seen this.
Okay, next when we're there, we'll have to go take a trip in the Grand Californian so you can go see the Hearthstone Lounge.
Oh wow. Okay, so the website has the old look, and there's pictures of the new look. I think that this redo is fantastic.
It made a big difference, yeah. It's not a very large, huge location, but it's a nice little. It's just off behind where they usually have the little treat cart for the holidays. They have all the different, where the cookie shot things are. You know what I'm talking about? It's like kind of behind where that is where the entrance is.
Huh. Yeah, I don't feel like I remember this
We'll
place
make
at
sure
all.
we poke our heads in there. Maybe you'll remember it.
It looks great.
Maybe it's the angles that have you a little turned around.
It looks great, though.
It does. I really like. So it's a dark green color that they used to paint it, and then refresh on the menu too, which is very fun.
More areas of Disneyland are being refreshed. There are walls up in the Esplanade where work is being performed on the walkway and bricks. In another hashtag Save Teresa's Trees moment, the trees in this area have been removed near the turnstiles. There's also walls up near Fantasyland Theater for what we expect is more paving work. Save Teresa's Trees!
Leave the trees alone.
Did you see this? They're missing trees.
Why? I need someone to tell me. Why did we have to remove those trees? Those trees were small. They weren't hurting anybody. They were providing some much-needed shade.
Yeah.
And character. And like
trees.
character.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the planters were kind of awkwardly placed pretty close to where the turnstiles were, which could be used to your benefit because not everybody realized that there were turnstiles behind there. So you'd have like these funny little short lines. So you could be waiting in one line that was actually kind of feeding two turnstiles.
I hope they bring these back, though, because
character, charm.
Well, shade. Nobody's going to complain that they add more shade around the park, I'm telling you.
No. I could see them not wanting the tree planters where they had been, maybe move it more midway between where the monorail track is and where the turnstiles are. I could see that, but...
All right, so it looks like they might have actually taken the planter out. I'm looking at Fresh Bake's video from the monorail, and I thought that the last time I had seen this, it looked like they had left the curb and whatever, but it looks like they've totally removed it. Now, it hasn't been paved again yet, so maybe they'll add something back, because all the rest of the stuff is torn up as well. So I don't know, but I hope the trees come back. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Shade. The Esplanade needs more shade.
It does.
Especially like standing in line midday when you're,
Start it out, people. Hashtag Save Teresa's Trees.
Save the trees. Well, guests supporting a local cause flooded the resort on Sunday. The Chalk Walk, which benefits the Children's Hospital of Orange County, brought in tens of thousands of walkers to raise money by walking a 5K path through both parks and also some backstage areas. Brought in tens of thousands of walkers to raise money by walking a 5K path through both parks. Rare characters, entertainment, and the ability to go backstage were all added perks of this event.
Yeah, so I want to do this one of these years because it supports a great cause, number one. Number two, you get to walk, not run or anything, but walk through Disneyland, through some backstage areas. There's lots of characters, entertainment, and rare characters you don't see. I saw Miko was one of the characters that was out and about. You get to walk through Disney California Adventure. All of that. I'm very excited. You get to see parade floats up close. Love it. Love it.
It just looks so fun. And like you said, great cause. Plus, it's in one of our favorite places. And I feel like you're surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people. And so the energy has just got to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Indiana
Is
Jones.
it early? Yes, it's early. But I think, why not? Why not? This is definitely something we need to do. They did have this a little bit earlier this year than they have in years past. Typically, I want to say it's in August, but this year they moved it up into July. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this lands well soon so that we can go be part of this awesome, wonderful event.
Absolutely.
I up, down, touch the ground. I think of things to chew, like honey and milk and chocolate. With a hefty, happy appetite, I'm a hefty, happy poo. A rumbly in my tumbly means it's time for snacks.
Well, this week for Snack Chat, we are continuing around. At first, I thought that if there was going to be a menu for the Hungry Bear barbecue, I wanted to talk about that. But we do not have a foodie guide this week, so we're going to talk about one of the locations next on our trip around the park. And if you remember last time, we talked about the Blue Bayou. Well, of course, continuing on, we hit Cafe Orleans. Now, I have only eaten a specialty food item here because we had there was something for Halloween or Christmas.
It was a Dr. Facilier hat that we went in just to get the dessert for.
That's what it was. Mm-hmm. But I've never actually eaten here.
Oh, you haven't?
And it is on my eventual list to do.
Oh.
So what do we got?
We need to make this happen for you, Tig. I feel like a bad...
But there's always so many good options.
I feel like a bad friend. I thought you had eaten here. But now that you say that, no. You know what's funny? When I was at the OG Pixar Fest, the first one that they had in, what was it, 2018, I called in and we recorded while Vern and I were waiting for our table to be ready at Cafe Orleans.
I remember this.
This is why I have a memory of you in Cafe Orleans. You weren't actually there.
Right.
Dang it. Okay, well, just an excuse for us to go enjoy it. There's all sorts of delicious stuff on this menu. There's, for small bites, they have a Caesar salad, gumbo, a stone fruit burrata, and prosciutto salad, which that sounds delicious. Great little small bites. Then there's different entrees, including battered and fried Monte Cristo. This, I think, is the place that made the Monte Cristo famous in Disneyland, for sure.
Yeah, this is where most people go to get their Monte Cristo if they're not eating it like Blue Bayou. One that I want to try, actually, because I'm not a ham fan, really, and I do like the Monte Cristo, but I'm not a huge fan, is the battered and fried triple cheese Monte Cristo sandwich, which is also an entree here. They have a beef bourguignon. They have a Cajun butter roasted chicken and a blackened shrimp Alfredo also on the thing. Now, you should talk about plant-based because you're all about plant-based.
So for the plant-based menu, I love this. They start with dessert first. There's a creme brulee tart on the plant-based menu, as well as ratatouille farro risotto and a crudité. The crudité is raw and pickled garden vegetables, lavish and red pepper citrus hummus. That just sounds refreshing.
And, of course, for me, an assortment of macarons.
Yes, for desserts.
Boom.
They do have wine by the glass. They have a signature cocktail, which is the bourbon julep. And they have beer on tap now there as well.
They also have a signature non-alcoholic beverage of the Bayou Punch, which is Minute Maid lemonade, a bulk Bayou Punch puree, which has Monin blueberry syrup, orange juice, and Monin strawberry puree, and an alligator-shaped gummy.
I would get it for the gummy.
But you can also get a mint julep stainless steel cup here, too, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the kids menu, which, I got so excited for James because James loves macaroni and cheese. He ate it multiple times during our last trip to the parks. I just saw Mickey macaroni, so I thought it was Mickey Mouse shaped macaroni and cheese. Missed opportunity there.
Yeah, but they got roasted chicken, petite short ribs, sautéed shrimp, and the Mickey's cheesy macaroni as the kids' entrees. And then you also get to choose a couple selections as well.
This is the other thing that's kind of a big deal at this location, the pommes frites. So the pommes frites are basically French fries, but then they sprinkle them with cheese and herbs. They look so good. They're like a thin, crispy fry. Right? The only way to get them now, you used to be able to get them as like an appetizer, but the only way to get them now is with one of the Monte Cristo sandwiches. So either the original Monte Cristo or the triple cheese Monte Cristo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the Monte Cristo and the pommes frites are like the thing that Cafe Orleans, I don't want to say is known for, but a lot of people associate those things with Cafe Orleans. But yeah, I don't remember what it was that I had. And I'm sure the menu has changed at least once since then, but I do remember really enjoying it. We got to sit out on the patio, so it had a really nice atmosphere. The time that we went in just for the dessert, we got to sit inside, which the interior is really beautiful as well. So just a really great thing. They do have reservations here, and there's also a mobile dine walk-up list, which I've done it both ways. Vern and I had a reservation, and then when we did the dessert, we joined the mobile walk-up list, which is really slick and easy to do.
We got to eat here sometime, I'm telling you.
We do.
Well, we just wanted to remind everybody about our meetup when we're going to be there for D23. It's going to be on Sunday, August 11th from 7 p.m. to close. Now, we may not be there right at 7 because the Legends ceremony ends right at 7, but as quickly as we can get out of the Honda Center and walk on over, yes, it is within walking distance of the Honda Center. We will meet everybody at the Lazy Dog Restaurant, which is located at 1623 West Catella Avenue in Orange, California. We will meet everybody on the patio. It is a free event to attend. If you want any food or drink, those are your responsibilities. There is free parking there if you're driving yourself, and there's a couple of cool opportunities here. One is to also meet Imagineer Terry Hardin, because it's going to be a joint meetup with Weekly Tears and Terry Hardin's Terry's Tribe. So you'll get to meet some people from Terry Hardin's supporter circle as well. So again, Sunday, August 11th, 7 p.m. till they close, Lazy Dog Restaurant. Hope to see you all there.
Do you want to know what I just saw?
What's that?
Happy hour will be going on from 9 p.m. until midnight.
Oh, look at that.
While we're there as well. Happy hour is Sunday through Thursday. So yeah, you can even get in some happy hour drinks and eats.
And after a busy weekend of D23, you probably want to relax with some happy hour
This
stuff.
makes me happy because looking at their menu, there are like too many good choices. So it's nice that there's a happy hour menu, so then we can get a couple of things and not feel as guilty about our bank accounts while getting a couple of things or a couple of drinks.
Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concy Ears to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concy Ears, and welcome to the D180. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We begin this week back on the Disney Treasure, whose construction just reached another major milestone. The final staterooms aboard the ship just got slotted into place and hooked up to utilities. We are getting close, folks. And yes, that might have been an odd way for me to state that. Slotted in. These rooms were built in the grand Disney tradition of modular rooms, just like the original resorts in Walt Disney World. Please indulge me for a moment while I talk about one of my favorite aspects of early Disney World and debunk a quick myth. The rooms at the Contemporary and Polynesian Village resorts were built off-site as part of a new modular construction method that was supposed to be the wave of the future. In short, the rooms were made down the road, complete with plumbing and electrical connections, and even furniture set in place. Each room was dropped into its location by crane, bolted in, and then hooked up to the main hotel lines. Contrary to some rumors, this was only for initial construction. Disney never intended to remove the rooms and swap them out for updates. That would be just slightly more crazy than the actual setup was. Imagine driving up to your hotel and seeing a crane on the side pulling a room out and swapping it for another one that was just conveniently waiting on the side. It might have been cool looking, but maybe not the most efficient way to handle that situation. Anyway, that's how the 1,246 rooms on the Treasure and ships like it are constructed now. A team of workers place all of the furniture and fixtures in place while the structure rolls down a conveyor belt. At the end of the line, each room is loaded onto a truck and craned into place. Pretty cool, huh? And all of that comes back to the main point that the last rooms are now done. The treasure is well on its way for its maiden voyage this December. Something about this new ship is extremely exciting for me. It might have something to do with the bevy of cool new lounges and restaurant experiences. In any case, I seriously wish I could experience this upcoming maiden voyage for myself. I mean, I wish I could treasure the impending adventure on this new ship. It sounds like a magical dream of wondrous fantasy. And that's all the ship names we have for the moment. And hey, real quick, don't forget about the discounts on rooms, tickets, and dining plans at Walt Disney World this coming summer, fall, and winter. Get in touch with one of our planners today to find your best mix of discounts. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric. We also want to mention a special deal that Concierge is working on. What is that deal, Teresa?
Yeah, so they're having Christmas in July. So now through the end of the month, if you contact our friends over at Concierge to book your next Disney vacation, you get a $50 gift card from them for your trip to use at Disney. So it's a Disney gift card. Contact Concierge today to book your vacation package. Again, this deal is good from now until July 30th. And yeah, you get a $50 Disney gift card.
Sounds cool.
Super awesome.
Your attention, please. DL Weekly Trivia is now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. All weekly tiers for...
Hello, welcome to Trivia Land. How are you two doing?
We were okay last week, so I think I'm tentatively positive going into this one. We're gonna think positively.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Think happy thoughts,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you are positive that this is going to go well.
I am positive that this will definitely be a Trivia Land.
Yes. We may or may not have just watched Inside Out last night, so thinking positively is key.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, first question I've got for you comes from listener Jill M. And the question is, in terms of distance, how long is the queue for Indy?
Ooh.
Now, the question is, how is she is she saying, like, the distance by the crow's fly, or is it, like, the switchbacks and everything?
The best I can give you is this is cited from behind the attraction. So however they would put it into a documentary piece like that.
Feel like they would have said, like, the little...
The switchbacks?
Mm-hmm. But the thing is where did they start their measuring?
Yeah.
Did they start it outside? I feel like maybe they started inside the tunnel. Maybe all the little back and forths in front, the extended queue. Maybe that wouldn't have been fully taken into account. Okay, so let's think.
I'm not measuring. I'm just looking as an idea here. So it's somewhere over here. I'm going to say, like...
I'm going to say it's a half mile.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow, look at you two.
I will say half a mile.
All right.
Half a mile sounds like that type of, like, stat that they would say. Like, they wouldn't be like, it is 728 feet. They'd be like, it's about half a mile.
Maybe.
You're laughing because you're
know.
like, actually...
No, I'm laughing because you are correct that statistically I'm looking for a simple fraction.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
Perhaps we walked all the way in and all the way out to get our half mile, but...
No, because, like, I mean, if you look at it, it's almost like walking down all of Main Street. But I guess that's not half a mile. I don't know. We'll find out when we get an answer later.
I feel
That's
like you
right.
having Google Maps gave us a little bit of an unfair advantage, but...
Yeah, I was going to say half a mile before I brought this up. At first, I thought quarter of a mile, but then I'm like, that seems too short. Because I imagined a track, and a track is a quarter of a mile, and I'm like, that seems too short. Although now that I say it, maybe that is the proper length. I'm going to stick with half a mile.
Okay. Sticking with half a mile. Got it. moving on. Question
Look at
number
me,
2
I'm
from
pulling you. I'm overthinking it. Gonna talk myself out of an answer.
yeah. Let's see how well this goes for you. So, question 2 is from listener Andy M, who is getting this information from a cast member that was on a podcast called For Your Attraction. But that video has since been made private, so I could not verify. So we're trusting Andy on this one. And the question is, originally the Winnie the Pooh birthday ride scene did not include a candle on the birthday cake. To rectify this situation, they took it from another attraction. Which one?
Well, the only one I can think of is Alice in Wonderland.
What does the candle look like? I'm thinking like Haunted Mansion.
No. It'd be like I think it's like a cartoony looking candle.
Alice in Wonderland probably is a good idea then.
But now I'm thinking candles. There's like the giant one that the rabbit's next to, but are there any? Now I'm trying to think. Are there any candles on the like Mad Tea Party setup on any of those cakes? I don't know if there
candles
are.
at unbirthday parties.
Well,
That
there
a
is
good
a candle that's like sparkling at the end that explodes.
Yeah, that's the big one that the rabbit's next to. It's like a larger than life candle.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say Haunted Mansion because that's what I went with from the beginning, so that's what I will say.
I'll stick with Alice.
Oh, wait, maybe
it's
it
in
would be
Toontown.
maybe it'd be a candle from Pirates. No, I'll stick with Haunted Mansion.
Not
Locked in?
overthinking it.
Yeah.
I can cross out the HM and put
No, Haunted Mansion's fine.
POC instead.
No, that's fine.
Or POTC.
TC. No, we're good.
All right, we're good. Question number 3 comes from listeners Ryan P. and Chrissy A. because they both sent the same question in the same week.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Super impressive. So the question is, there are 2 things that are in every room in It's a Small World. What are they? And if you want to elaborate on what their importance is to the theme of the attraction, feel free. Note, not children. That does not count as an answer.
I've written mine down.
I want to say, like, doesn't every room have, like, a sun?
There's a sun and there's a moon.
Yeah. But
And it's
those
in the song, isn't it?
Yeah. But are you saying the sun and moon are the 2 answers?
Yeah. My answer is the sun, the moon, and it's woven into the attraction, or the music lyrics. There's just one moon and one golden
Sun.
Yep.
Just one moon and one golden sun, and a smile means friendship to everyone.
So yeah, you going with sun and moon too?
Yes. I feel like there might be an animal, though, because I feel like there's a lot of animals.
There are
too,
a lot
but
of animals.
James said children you can't say, so I don't think it's going to be an animal either.
I said children, not animals.
There's a flume and a ceiling.
A boat
Oh my
full of
god.
people.
Hopefully not asleep too.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You are not wrong, but I appreciate your first answers for going with the spirit of the question.
Sure.
All right. Last question. My question. Put the Rise of the Resistance scenes in order after Ray
boy.
gives you her briefing.
Will you
Looking
go
for,
outside?
like room names
And
and
the train.
such of the sort.
I have no idea what the room names are going to be.
Transport.
If you
No,
describe
you're outside
it, that is
first. You're in
good
the loading
enough.
area of the transport.
Oh, do we have to say loading area and then transport?
I'm fine if you group some of them together.
Okay,
like
so we're
that.
going to say then you go to the transport.
Yep. And so you're on
And
TR 141.
What
Is
is
it
the big
141?
room called when you get
That's the docking, or not the docking. Well, docking.
the
bay.
hangar?
The hangar bay.
Hangar bay.
And then you're in the
And then I'm going to say
interrogation hallway.
Yeah, the interrogation cell / hallway.
Yep. And then you're into the ventilation shaft or something with the thing, but you're not really in the ventilation shaft. They just like came through the wall. And so you're in the like vehicle loading, and then you're in that big room with the that you're like tell them it's a prisoner transport.
And then you've got the probe droid.
The probe droid section.
And then there's the what? I don't know.
And then there's the stormtroopers shooting at you.
Aren't
There's,
you
like, a
so glad
catwalk.
you asked this question, James?
I am. This is
So
exactly
there's
what I was hoping for.
stormtroopers
Hang on,
shoot-
I haven't written. Do I need to write these?
I don't
down?
think you need it right now. We'll
Okay,
just
good.
know. So you
You are
shoot. The
okay.
stormtroopers are shooting at you.
And then you zip away, and then you end up in the bridge. No,
There's
don't up in
something
the bridge
there.
yet. You zip away, and then you end up in the AT-AT room.
No, the AT&T room is later. 'cause-
You're right. It's later. So you zip away, and then you end up in the bridge, And then once you're in the bridge...
You're in the bridge, and he turns around and gets upset at you, and you go back, and the dude jumps down, and he's walking at you, and you get on the elevator.
Yep.
And then he jumps on the elevator, and lightsabers through, spoiler alert. And then you get off.
No, we've missed. Where's the AT-AT rooms before all this, I think.
No, because the AT-AT room, you go up the elevator,
and then
you go through the hallway, you're in the cannons.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. So
you get off the thing.
Bridge, elevator.
And then you go to the AT-AT room, I think. Yeah, because you're through the elevator.
But when do you see...
He jumps and...
When does Kylo get blown away?
That's towards the end.
Yeah, that's towards the end.
So then you're in the AT-AT room, and you go up the elevator, and then you go down that hallway where you get shot at. And then you're in the main hallway thing that looks like on one side is space, and the other side are the cannons. And then you see Finn talking to you, and then... As you go through that, and then he's like, "You will not escape," and then you escape.
I don't think you see.
He's on the TVs.
Oh, he's on the TVs. I've never paid attention to that part.
And then we get to the loading area of the escape pods.
The escape pods.
And then we escape pod.
And then
we're at the
in Batuu.
Well, no, then we end up in that like hangar thing, and there's
it's where we crash
what's his
landed.
butt?
Admiral Akbar.
No, I mean. He is a calamarian, but it's
you fell into the trap.
Hold on,
it's Lieutenant Beck here.
Lieutenant Beck. And then you're at the exit. Is that fair?
Oh my goodness!
I think I can fit that into the form of an answer. Maybe
I could fit that into a form.
I might need the rest of the discussion topic to figure that one out, though. So you two go and take care of that, and we'll come back and see how you did on all of these.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we are speaking with illustrator and visual development artist Casey Robin. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
We're so excited to have you on. Before we get kind of in the meat of things, we want to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell us your Disney story?
Oh, sure. I mean, growing up as a young girl in the early 90s, I was perfectly primed to receive the Disney Renaissance. The Little Mermaid is the first movie I have a memory of seeing in theaters, specifically the key change at Part of Your World, where she does the backflip. I remember it was Christmas time, and they gave me a little candy cane, and I was there with my dad. It's great. The Disney movies were very special for us growing up. My siblings and I, we would reenact Aladdin or The Lion King and make Dad play Scar or Jafar or whatever and crawl over him. And then, I used to go to the parks pretty regularly with my family. My parents always made it a priority to take us, even though we didn't have a lot of money. We would prioritize a special Disneyland moment. Always loved that. I have silhouettes from the Main Street silhouette shop of me from when I'm a baby to an adult. And at every age in between. So Disney's played a huge part in my life, and it was a driving factor in me becoming a professional artist. I was so inspired by what I saw, specifically in Renaissance era Disney, but also in older stuff too, that I just wanted to be part of that world, as it were.
That's awesome.
I like how you worked that in there. I feel like you and I share that kind of same time, because like that's kind of, when I was growing up as well. So.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize at the time that it was special. I thought, every child grows up with a Disney movie, like a great, amazing one every single year or every other year.
Yeah. I
that
remember, that was our Christmas gifts every year for my grandma was whatever VHS of whatever had come out.
Those were so special, the clamshell VHSs.
Yes. I still have them. I don't know. They're just collecting dust, but I just can't part with them.
I remember one time we were visiting Grandma, and we were staying at a hotel, which was unusual, and Dad came home with the Pocahontas, clamshell VHS, which had just come out, and we're like, but it's not Christmas. It's not anyone's birthday. What is this? You just bought us a Disney movie? Oh my God, let's watch it right now.
That's awesome.
That was also the time when, stuff would go to the vault, and you wouldn't see it again for sale. So, you had a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'd find some way to bring back that kind of
brilliant marketing
clamshell stuff, because everybody knew when they saw that white kind of that was a Disney anyway.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a DVD hiding in a VHS style clamshell.
There you
it's
go.
Kind of dumb, but I would like it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some nostalgia hit for some folks for sure. Well, when you go to Disneyland on the first day of a visit, which way do you go? Do you go left towards Adventureland, through to Fantasyland, right towards Tomorrowland? And we've added, because people have opinions about this, do you go through the left tunnel or the right tunnel?
Always the right tunnel on the castle, because that's where the wishing well is. And that's where I most often run into the fairy godmother. And she usually doesn't have a line and is usually down to chat. That's also near where the best bathrooms are, the ones with the playing card doors.
Oh, those are so good.
But to backtrack to answer your question, when I was a kid, I was like, get out of my way, Main Street. You're dumb. I'm going to Tomorrowland to ride my favorite ride, which was Star Tours, because I was a big Star Wars fan and I was afraid of any thrill ride. And so this was the one kind of thrilling ride that I could handle. And I rode it infinitely. I remember we had Magic Morning one time where you get into the park an hour early, and it was like the one and only time we did that. I rode Star Tours about 10 times in a row.
Wow.
I would still do that today. So I guess short answer, Tomorrowland. Long answer, these days I really like the ambiance of Main Street because I'm old now and a horse-drawn carriage seems great. Like, yeah, I want to wait and ride on that slowly down the street and look at the taffy pulling and the silhouette making and go into the old theater and see the old cartoons, which I used to despise as a child. I hated anything in black and white. I hated that noodle animation. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like, so one time, the last time I was at Disneyland was March 1st, 2020, before the pandemic. And I arrived on Main Street, hopped on the trolley car. It was like the very last moment that you could hop on. And I'm like, oh, is it going? No, it's okay. Get on. So I got on. And who should hop on after me but the Dapper Dans? All four of them. And like, they rode the trolley car hanging off the side and serenading us. And they were like, one of them was right in front of me. And I was just like, I love you. Like, I sincerely, wholeheartedly love the Dapper Dans, not just for the novelty. I actually think they're really talented. And yeah, so I just about died.
Wow,
That's pretty
what
amazing.
A cool story. But let me clarify about the tunnel. The train tunnel, like when you
the train tunnel.
That's okay.
Oh,
no, I
okay.
like your answer actually too.
Yeah, because the castle also has two entrances.
Yeah, exactly.
Right hand. I think it's because I drive that way. You know?
We go in the right side too. I feel like most of the time.
We do.
Yeah.
In fact, I think last time we went to go left, and I was like, "No, we go this way."
Well, and also it puts you by the hat shop, which I enjoy.
True.
I like looking at the hats.
We enter that tunnel, and like on our last day of the trip, we always exit that tunnel too. But I feel like when we park hop, we go through the other tunnel.
You're right,
like when we're going out.
I enter right tunnel, exit what would be the left tunnel, like the other tunnel.
Yeah.
I go by road rules, I suppose.
I go by road rules. I like it. I like it. So you mentioned what your favorite ride was when you were a child. What is your favorite attraction now as an adult? And even though this is a Disneyland podcast, you can pick any attraction from any of the Disney parks.
Okay. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love the queue, the atmosphere, everything leading up to it. I love the way the people who are working the queue do not smile. Yeah. I love the goofy tombstones. I love the stretching paintings and all the effects in the hall and everything inside it. It's like for me, it's the most immersive piece of Imagineering ever. Even though it's not the most technically impressive, I forget that it's daytime outside. And I come out and I'm dazzled and I'm like, what? I thought it was night. You know, and I love also the Haunted Mansion, like, what do you call it? You know, the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
Oh,
Haunted
Holiday.
I love that too.
Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yeah, they're both great. Like, if I could be a ghost, if I had to be a ghost, I would be one of those dancing ghosts in the ballroom, just like the pastel-haired ones. And just like, yeah, that sounds like a good time. Yes, please. But I think it's the combination of how technically impressive it is. Even the really simple effects still are magical to me. And then just the vibes. They're so good. And the music. Oh, and the Doom Buggies are so comfortable.
They are.
Just a little
They
bit of
are,
everything.
which is funny because they're kind of like a molded plastic. So it's not
they
like
did
this
a good
big
design.
plush.
It's the shape of them.
Yeah, yeah. They're
they're
just it's almost like it's like sitting in a hug a little bit.
Yeah, they just encapsulate you so nicely. And I remember as a child, before I went into Haunted Mansion, my mother described it to me in every detail. She told me exactly what to expect so I wouldn't be scared. And I was like imagining it all. And I was just like, oh, surely it can't be that cool. And then I went out and I'm like, oh my God, it's that cool.
So what are your feelings? We're gonna kind of skirt until we get into like more about you and your stuff, but what are your feelings with the redoing of the queue outside and the extension? Are you excited about? Have you seen the concept art of what they're doing?
I haven't. Enlighten me.
Okay, we will show it to you.
Okay.
So right now the mansion has been behind construction walls for what feels like months. What has been months, and they're redoing the queue. So the queue is going to kind of extend out into the plaza area that was like in front of the train station there.
Okay, see that. Near the fountain?
The fountain is gone, unfortunately.
No, I like
Yes,
fountains.
yes. But there's going to be a gift shop at the exit now of the Haunted Mansion. So here's the concept art of the gift shop, which is going to be themed as the carriage house of the mansion. So the
I love
exit's
that.
still in the middle of that photo there of the concept art. But yeah, so there's the new gift shop.
I
but
love that you come out of a
yeah, that you come out of the mausoleum.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you kept that.
And then there's what the expansion will be for the extended queue. So instead of
I'm into
swirling
it.
around the fountain area now, they actually have it'll be an expanded themed area.
There we go.
I like themed areas. I see some garden plants and some wall fountains. Maybe Madame Leota there. I love her. Yeah, as long as it's themed, I'm into it. I love theming.
To me, they haven't really released details. Maybe we'll get more for D23. And then this is what the plaza in between Tiana's palace and then the exterior of the queue is going to look like. So yeah, sadly, no fountain anymore, but it's going to be more of a hangout space.
This is cool.
Somebody
I've had really fun times meeting Tiana and Dr. Facilier over there. So whatever facilitates more of that. I mean,
What's interesting, totally off topic, but somebody had mentioned that it seems like they're going to tear down the building where the fire happened on the other side of the train.
Oh,
Looking
sure.
at this concept art, that building is not there.
Yeah, that is true.
well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, I guess, if a fire happened to tear it down. And I'm totally... I'm in love with the way that theme parks are ever changing, that my memories of Disneyland are not the same as my mother's, are not the same as, my little nieces. Like, I think that's cool. I think that theme parks therefore live in each of us uniquely based on our personal experience with them. So I'm never one to be super upset when they make changes, as long as those changes are thoughtful.
Yeah.
As long as they are driven by wanting to create a magical experience instead of merely driving commerce. I mean, creating a magical experience will in turn drive commerce. So do that, Disney. I like when they're like, okay, yeah, make people really happy, make them feel good, and then they'll buy your merch,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't love it when it's just like, oh, they turned it into a store.
Yeah.
Although I do love a well-themed, well-placed gift shop. So I'm not opposed to the Haunted Mansion gift shop with the carriage house. That's cute. I love the Baton Rouge, though. I'm
really interested to see how they bring that to life, and the fact that they're talking about, they're not talking about it. It is a gift shop, but they keep calling it the carriage house. So I feel like it's going to be very, very themed. So I'm really excited to see what they do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love theming. I would hang out in a gift shop if it was very themed and it had narration or murals. Oh, I actually have a pretty funny story about my trip to Disneyland Japan and my experience with the Tower of Terror there.
Oh, tell us.
Okay,
please.
So kind of related. I knew that they had specific, unique lore for the Tower of Terror there at Disneyland Japan, and I was very curious to see how they imagineered that. But my friend who was going to the park with me was really afraid to ride the ride. And so I'm like, okay, I don't love drop rides. In fact, I hate them. But I will go on one just to see the theming. I loved Twilight Zone, so I braved the drop ride for that. I don't care about Guardians of the Galaxy, so no thank you, please don't drop me. But I really wanted to see. And so they had an open part at the end that was kind of a gift shop and a queue exit. And I could see that they had, unique, like original murals of Lord Hightower, the character they created for, Tower of Terror Japan. And so I kept bending down to see them because they were a little bit high and there was a lower door. And so I would bend down, look at the mural, bend down, look at the next one, bend down, look at that one. And then my friend's like, hey, Casey, that person working in the gift shop's been bowing back to you for the last 5 minutes. Maybe give her a break. I'm like,
oh no. Oh no.
Make you bow at me every time I duck to look at the mural.
Oh no.
It was like, what great customer service. I didn't even know she was creating a moment for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's
She
awesome.
was very sweet. She had the manner of like a very lovely stewardess. Like, very classy.
Oh, that's awesome. They should almost, I wish you could, and maybe if you ask cast members, they could help make a little magic for stuff like that, where like in this, I don't want to go on the attraction, but can I walk through the queue and then you just let me out at some point?
Just get the lore. I imagined that would be a nightmare for queue hopping.
That's true.
Like for, when I was a teenager, I could see my friends being like, all right, here's what we're going to do. And I'd be like, guys, no, we're going to get in trouble.
Well, that's one thing I appreciate at Universal is the Harry Potter attraction. They have a line that you could go through that's just to look through the queue.
They do?
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
didn't know that. That's very neat.
Yeah, and then right about where you get towards the load area, you kind of like exit back out. Which is a brilliant, because they have so much.
I would just call it, chickening out. I would go through the line with my parents and be like, well, that's as much of Indiana Jones as I want to see. Bye.
Fair.
You're like, I got the gist. We're good. Like, I understand what's happening here.
I was so afraid of anything even moderately fast. And, I wanted to see the Abominable Snowman, but I was too afraid to ride the Matterhorn. So back in my day, we had the Sky Baskets, and I would just ride those back and forth while my much braver cousins rode the Matterhorn, and I could see the Abominable Snowman.
Oh,
really
cool. That's cool. I didn't know you could see Harold from those.
I miss the Skyway so much.
I do too. I loved those.
It was really
They
cool.
still have something like it at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and I'll ride that just to get the old vibes back.
Yeah.
But that is something I miss.
Disney World has the Skyliner, which is really cool, but they're literally to get you between the resorts and stuff. Anyway, we need to talk about your artistry. So let's talk about it.
I want to back up because you kind of hinted at this, that Disney had a lot to do with kind of the path that you were set on as far as wanting to be an artist and kind of inspired you. So can you talk about maybe if there were any specific people, specific movies, anybody, that kind of inspired you or continue to inspire you today?
Sure. Well, as far as specific movies, it came in phases. When I was very, very young, I watched a lot of Cinderella because we had it. My mom liked it. I used to think the part where Lucifer was trying to catch Gus Gus under the teacup was peak comedy. That crazy face he made was just like our cat. It was perfect. And I would say that the colors and shapes of that movie seeped into my little subconscious at 3 or 4 and still come out in my work. Like the S curves and C curves and the Rococo palette, but like a 50s version of the Rococo palette. And so that was an early impression for me. And then when I was 5, like I said, it was Little Mermaid. That's such an obvious answer, but my dad was a musical theater guy. So we bonded over musical theater, and, he would take me to the ballet. He would take me to musicals. We would sing music. Anything that was a really good Disney musical, we'd sing it all, so we'd be there singing, Part of Your World or just like Fathoms Below or whatever, anything we could. And then like when Aladdin came out, we'd sing Whole New World because that was a duet, I mean, we even went to a Frozen sing-along and sang Love's an Open Door because it had a male and a female part. So I think there was a real strong connection with my dad, who I remember taking me to see Snow White in the theaters when they brought that back, 101 Dalmatians, Little Mermaid. Like I said, he would play Jafar in our Aladdin games. We would, make him be the snake. We'd make him be a codfish as Captain Hook. So, then little Casey loved Ariel so much. I mean, that animation was really special. Glenn Keane became a hero of mine, not just for his beautiful, beautiful drawings and animation, but because he's a sincerely very, very kind, very sweet man who lives with a ton of integrity. Not to say that other animators aren't. He's just been really, I guess, outspoken about it. And then also, I really like his drawings. So I did get to meet him and sit in on dailies for Tangled when I was at Disney in 2010. I was like a story associate there, and I co-directed a short there, and he was very encouraging to me. So Glenn Keane has been a guiding light for my work. There was also a very specific era when I was about 14, and I saw a copy of this book called The Art of Animation from Mickey Mouse to Hercules, and it went over the production art of Hercules, among other things. And I had never seen concept art before of any sort. This was like before I was on the internet. I didn't know that there was ever anything other than like the drawings that were finished on screen, you know?
Yeah.
And so seeing how they broke down, Greek forms and Greek patterns and things, and then made characters out of them, I'm like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Because I was a kid who loved myth. I was, classic dorky kid. I'm reading all the folk tales and mythology, and like, yeah, I know all the gods and goddesses, and I know which ones I want to be friends with, and which ones I wouldn't want to be friends with. And so that blew my mind. And then when I was in college, I really latched on to Atlantis and Treasure Planet.
Ooh,
I was a huge Atlantis apologist. I wrote a musical version of Disney's Atlantis as my senior project in high school with my friend Richard Andreessen, with my teacher playing Rourke because the other guy dropped out the week before. And like we made our costumes at home, and it was the dorkiest thing you can imagine. And I like got permission from Disney to do it. And I interviewed Randy Haycock, who animated Kida, before I wrote Kida's song, about what she's like. Like, I know what she's like on the screen, but is there anything more you can tell me about her that might inform my writing? Me being, 15 or 16 at this point.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And he's still, to this day, I'm turning 40 this year. It's the girl who wrote that Atlantis musical. I'm like, Randy, I've done it. But he's very kind. Let's see. Now, Sleeping Beauty. Like, Sleeping Beauty, so good. I mean, the graphic simplicity of it, the music and the art together, Ivan Earl's backgrounds, the colors, all of it, so stinking good. There's so many that have had an impact on me. Mulan was huge because I really like the more stylized Disney, and they pushed it a little bit, so I responded very well to Hercules and Mulan and Sleeping Beauty. While I respected something like Beauty and the Beast, it didn't excite me in the same way that something that was like heavily stylized did. So like Fantasia 2000, Rhapsody in Blue, with the like Al Hirschfeld styling. Eric Goldberg directed that. I had a big old conversation with him at CTN one year about just how great Al Hirschfeld is and how much we love him and why we love him and how he set us free and how he's so brilliant. And I have like a drawing from that encounter that Eric was kind enough to draw for me of the drummer, the guy who's the drummer. I don't even know his name, but I love that guy.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, so many. I wrote so much Treasure Planet fan fiction. Like, I love Captain Amelia so much. I wrote like a novel-length origin story for her and like researched Napoleonic War era ships, and I'm adored.
I'm impressed with like.
That
so
is
not
impressive.
only are you like a visual artist, but then having the creativity to do the musical of Atlantis and then the fan fiction and the backstory for these other. It's so cool.
I spent so much time on the Bin Mountain. That was the Treasure Planet fan forum. It was really wholesome. We just loved the movie so much.
Treasure Planet's one of those films that for some reason it kind of slipped through the cracks when it came out, and people, and I don't know, and it did. It just slipped through. Like even big Disney fans didn't even they hadn't even seen it. Like it just kind of fell off the radar. But man, it is cool, and like yourself, there are people that are diehards.
It's a hot mess. It's a beautiful mess. It's a beautiful, beautiful mess, and it doesn't entirely work as a whole piece. I have rewritten parts of it in my head to make it more what I would want to see, but the stuff that's cool is so cool that I forgive everything else. I was like, I really, really, really want to be Captain Amelia. She's so cool. She's just like a space alien who's a cat, who's also Emma Thompson, who's like a pilot of a cool space sail ship, and she looks amazing. Ken Duncan has also been a huge inspiration in terms of, like, I love his ladies, Meg, Jane, Captain Amelia. amazing. He's also got great range. He also animated Scroop in that movie, who couldn't be more different from.
Oh, wow.
I will say, to your point, I just watched this movie probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and I thought visually it was a really cool movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind the storyline or whatever. I didn't really know what was going on because, like, I didn't know much about it. I actually had a plush of
one of the little characters
of the what's this dude?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Morph?
What's the pink dude? Morph.
Yeah.
I had a Morph plush animal, and I don't know why.
Because he's cool. And
I mean,
cute.
he is cool, but it was a good movie, so I don't know why people. I mean, not.
I think I know
I thought it was
why.
pretty good.
It's Treasure Planet in space. That's kind of weird and dorky. But I'm weird and dorky. And so, like, I personally can take something like Treasure Planet in space and be like, yes, and thank you. I think it might just be a little too offbeat for the general audiences. And also, I'm not a big fan of Jim, which is weird because I love this movie. But
Sure.
I'm also not a big fan of Holden Caulfield or Rebel Without a Cause or any of that kind of thing. So it's just not my... I have tropes that I like and I don't like, and that's
and that's one of them. The other one, I'm trying to think of another one that like fell through the cracks, but there's people that like when they grew up with it, love with Atlantis. And then the Black Cauldron is another one that kind of, but that one's so dark.
For the first time.
Oh, did you?
I'm like, oh my goodness! Only in the '80s would Disney make this movie.
It has quite the following.
I think is actually a better overall. Like I think it hangs together a little bit better than Treasure Planet. Its world building is really good. Like the Atlantean culture, language, art, all of that. It feels very lived in. I love that. The story's it's fine. You know?
How cool would it have been? I think this may have been talked about with the submarines if we would have traveled to Atlantis instead of visiting Nemo. That could have been
well, they
so
talked
cool.
about it, but it didn't do well in the box office, and they canceled it.
It could have been so cool.
I'm sorry to all our headphone listeners, but the part of me that wrote a musical of this because I love it so much just really, really wants to go to Atlantis.
Yes.
The other thing I would have loved is if we had done Ariel's ride in the submarines and had real underwater hair physics for all of that, and you could end with like a big Ursula attack. It'd be amazing because like they did Ariel's ride after they had shut down the submarines, but before they retooled them, I believe. And so I'm like, come on, guys! It's right next to Fantasyland. Come on. I mean,
you could have just kind of swooped Fantasyland in a little bit further because really the Matterhorn's right there.
It's touching the Matterhorn, and then you could have like a meet and greet to bridge the two. I don't love the Nemo one just because it uses so many projections, and I really like physical, tangible animatronics.
Yes.
Although I imagine that the logistics of maintaining underwater animatronics that are fully submerged in full sunlight all the time forever. I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that, but if anyone can, it's Disney, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I speaking of the aerial attraction, I mean, they had the plans for an attraction at the parks like way back when the movie came out, and I remember seeing anything about an attraction was on one of the like DVD special features because they had like a 3D like run through of the attraction.
I remember that.
And I was like, why didn't they build this? And then like 5 years later, they built a budget version of what that ended up being. And
I still like it, but I think I think the magic of having Ariel's hair move in real water would just be so cool.
Yeah.
I can understand the logistics why you wouldn't want to, but I want it just as a fan.
Well, they had so many troubles when that ride opened trying to get the hair right. Because I remember they swapped her hair out like 5 or 6 times.
I remember the old janky hair.
Yeah. Anyway.
What was it? It was like it looked like
it looked like soft serve, yeah.
Soft serve, that was
I think at one point they like gave up and just gave her a ponytail in the end of the segment. I'm like, oh, that's one way to solve it.
Yeah.
But the Ursula animatronic is amazing. I love that animatronic.
Every time we go through there, I'm like, can we please have our like pause or our slow down in this room?
I'm gonna drop my ears right before the Ursula run.
Ursula was done dirty in that attraction though, because you get through and then suddenly she's like dying in the background, and then it's over. Yeah, we don't know why, but I'm very angry and sinking into the ocean in the background, and we're done.
I like to think that she called her agent and was like, look, the evil queen in the Snow White ride, she's all over that ride. What are you doing for me? You know, she's there like 8, 9 times. She's the star of that ride. And I get like one nice animatronic and then I'm gone.
Yeah. Pay no mind. You kind of forget that. Wait a minute. There was a villain here. What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the abridged storytelling in the rides. Like, oh, Pinocchio, Monstro, oh, we're okay. Bye.
the quick abridged version.
So let's talk about the thing that I'm sure Teresa is very excited about because she loves Lorcana.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your experience with doing Lorcana stuff. What do you do for Lorcana?
I want to start at the beginning though.
Yeah.
How does one get hooked up
That's a very good place to start.
to be someone that gets to help with the card illustrations that man,
They're
I was
amazing.
just talking with somebody, we were talking about this in our community chat the other day, that people don't necessarily get like they're excited about the game, yes, but people are more excited about the art. And they're like, I wish I could just blow some of these up and just have them in my house because they're so beautiful. So how does one get to be someone that gets to create that?
Well, it's not a particularly interesting story. I mean, the real answer is a lifetime of hard work and stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
You know, I've been at this since I was 14, and I saw that book, and I henceforth dedicated myself to becoming as good as the people in that book. I just got an email one day from our director, Edgar Paston, saying, hey, I didn't even know who he was at that point. Like, I'm going to ask him because I don't remember if I met him at a convention or what. I'm going to see him at Lightbox. So I'll be like, where do I know you from? How did you know me?
How did you think of me?
Well, because sometimes it's just that they saw your stuff online, you know?
Oh,
and
sure.
But I also go to a lot of conventions, so it's totally possible that I met him, didn't realize who he was or what he was talking about, and then later he emailed me. But I got this email saying, hey, we've got a top secret project with a major client, deals with really major IP. It would make for some great portfolio pieces, and it would be a lot of fun. And I'm like, cool, what is it? You know, and I was like, it's probably going to be like Marvel or something. And then it's like, oh, it's Disney characters. Oh boy. Oh, it's really nice illustrations of Disney characters. Oh, they got the princesses. You know, I got very excited. And like I said, I'm a dork at heart. I became a professional dork pretty much. You know, I've got enough skills that are sellable that I can just be like, princesses.
That's perfect.
Right. So yeah, so they sent me an NDA. I signed it. And then they revealed the project. They revealed Lorcana. And I went, oh yeah, this is going to be popular. Like immediately. It was like, you would have to be an amazing fool to fumble this because it's got everything people want. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, and then they haven't fumbled it. They've done a great job with it. They've done a wonderful job bringing it to life. And I'm going to get on a little high horse here. I'm really appreciative that they are very firmly against the use of generative AI in their Lorcana making. They employ real artists, and I love that. And that's why the art is so nice, you know, because they pick people who really care about Disney, who love Disney. We all are coming from the place of, like you guys, loving Disney, loving the movies, loving the parks. We've developed professional skills so we can make these things, but like, I'm trying to transfer my love of Disney to you through art. And so is everyone else. And so that's why it's so magical, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it was just like, do you want to do this? Yes, I do. Okay, can you do Tiana? Here's an art brief. And I'm like, yeah. They gave me like the big poofy ball gown version. So I was excited and scared. I remember crying on my now husband's couch like the night before I had to turn it in because I was just like, I'm not good enough.
Oh no. I can't imagine like being a fan and then having to like turn it in for the, you know, being a fan and you're putting like your blood, sweat and tears literally and just like your whole heart into these things and like please like please
and it's like,
you know.
And I'm a professional as well, and so there's the part of you that's like, okay, just be a professional, and then there's the part of you that's like, this is like the thing. It's the Disney thing. Yeah. It's like so magical. Like, it's easy to get a little bit starstruck, you know, even though you're professional and you've done all these things and all that. But yeah, I really do try to bring my whole heart to every piece I make, especially, you know, for Lorcana. I'm thinking of the young people who might be seeing these, who might feel sparked to go on their own artistic journey. of this. I mean, that was kind of what it was for me. I saw something inspiring and I went after it, and so I hope that can be this for people, or at least just a fun thing for people who like Disney. But yeah, as far as how I got involved, it's so boring. I just got an email.
That's exciting, though.
And then it got
when
exciting.
Opportunity knocks.
Yeah. So
it got exciting once I got the assignment.
I'm looking at the cards that you've designed here, and first of all, I love Yzma, and the fact that you got to do some art of Yzma is amazing.
Yeah. I am so happy they gave me that one.
So Disney is pretty particular with how their characters are depicted. So
Yes.
how much of what you how much of the design was like, here's kind of what we want it to be, draw it, and how much was like, here's the character, here's like you were saying, like, oh, like this is the dress she has to be in, but then you can do whatever with it.
Well, I think one of the really special things about Lorcana is that they respect the artist, and they do give us a leeway to really be artists. So, they want you to give them some options so that they give you a description of what they want. So they know already what kind of character, for what card this is, which card this is going to be for. So they already have worked out the character and the move and the vibes and some thinking, and come back with a few ideas of like, well, here are 3 or 4 different ways that you could do that, or you could show Tiana in that dress in this beautiful moment. Here's some different poses, here's some different staging, here's some different, closer in or further away or whatever. They even let me turn in very, very rough sketches. Like my early sketches are, I don't want to say ugly, very rough, hard to read. But that's how I like the sketch, because once I start to tie it down, it starts to die. And I want to keep it alive. And so for me, that means keeping it loose until I'm ready to tighten it up. So I turned in the roughest sketches for Yzma that were just like the pose, but it's like very scribbly. And they were cool with that. And I appreciate that. And then you get down to a refining process where you've already kind of given them your ideas, and there's a back and forth with the art director. And ideally, the art director is like partnering with you in catching this vision, helping you see things in a fresh way, see things you might have missed, to suggest, give reference, that kind of thing. And then it goes to Disney for review. And then I've had so many different experiences at this part where sometimes it's like, oh, just put like a highlight on the eye and then she's good to go, to all the way to like, not completely redo it, but redoing large portions of it. And I don't know, you just, as a professional, you just try to give them what they want. I'm very cognizant that Disney is, that the IP they hold is quite valuable. And of course, they want it to look very nice. And the one thing with Yzma that I was happy about was I nailed the face right away. And they were always like, love the face, don't change the face. So I'm like, okay, at least I have that. And the rest were like kind of more fine tuning, but at least the really important part is locked, and it feels good. It feels good when something's locked, when it's like, okay, this part is working, don't change it. That's like a touchstone. You feel like, okay, I've got at least 1 foot on solid ground here, and then the rest is a matter of finesse. So there's a lot of room for creativity in Lorcana, and I think that's part of why it's so special.
That's awesome.
I did not you probably knew this. I did not realize until I was looking at these photos. Do they put the artist's name at the bottom of each card?
Every single
God
card.
bless
That
them.
is
They
awesome.
credit the artist, and that means so much. It's such a small thing, but it means so much for us, for our careers, for our sense of mattering, because you do put a lot of work into it, and for someone to just acknowledge your name means the world. And then on a practical sense, it really helps your career, because I used to do Disney princess books, and I would paint the princesses for various storybooks. And I was always just one of the Disney storybook artists, because it was very collaborative and you only do part of it. It's like, okay, my job is painting parts of things. But still, it's like, there's a lot of people worked on this, It'd be nice to be acknowledged. And I'm really grateful that Lorcana does. They really do right for their artists. So I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. So let's just keep talking about Yzma here. So with
I love Yzma.
I mean, she's.
I love Yzma.
Before we met you at the Disneyana conference in the spring of this year, and we were chatting, and I looked down and I saw this card, and this, before I even realized that it was you, that this is one of my favorite cards, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. I love the artwork of this card so much. It's such a brilliant way of capturing that character in like a still form. Like, you know everything you need to know about Yzma just by what she's doing right there. So how do you kind of how does that process go? Do they give you like, so on the cards it's the character name, but then it's also kind of a little description. So this one's Yzma, scary beyond all reason. Do you get to know that going in, or do you? Okay, like,
and I'm like, I had a chuckle as soon as I got my art brief. I'm like, oh, that's a really good name for a card. I love that.
And then like Tiana's True Princess, and then Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation.
Ballroom Sensation. So your question is like, could you sum up your question so I'm sure to answer it, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I got a little distracted with my question. So do they kind of say, we want Yzma like on her throne, or do they just say, we just need, give us scary beyond all reason? How specific are they?
It's a very short description, 2 or 3 lines, maybe. I think they might have mentioned a throne in that one, if I recall correctly. And then I went to the film. I always go back to the film. I treat this as an opportunity to like do a master study, from master artists who did art that I love. And I grabbed a bunch of reference, and then I also thought, how can I make this fun and my own? And it's like a non-canon amethyst Yzma. Yeah. So, it doesn't have to look just like the film. We start there, and then we add some amethysty stuff to it. So I added some crazy shapes to the back of the throne. But the thing with Yzma, I try to approach each piece from who the character is and what they are at their core. Yzma at her core is extremely vain. She is unaware or doesn't care about her actual appearance, which I love it. Love that energy. And just presents herself as this total dish, this total sexy gal, and is kind of killing it, honestly, but her body is in contrast to what we tend to think of as like an idealized sexy lady. She's very bony, her chest is sunken, her hips are so sharp, but she carries herself like Jessica Rabbit or like this fashion plate, and
her skin is like ghostly.
She's purple, and she's also extremely manic, where she has this smile that's just a little bit unhinged, where it's like trying to I'm nice, she's putting on a face for the emperor, and he's not very bright, so she doesn't have to be very convincing. Fool him into thinking that she's like a good person who he should have near to him. But yeah, so I just posed her like the sexiest lady possible, and then drew her anatomy as it is, which is an inherently funny contrast to how she carries herself. But as I'm talking about it, I'm like, no, mad respect for Yzma. Carry yourself however you want, girl. Not so much respect for the attempted regicide, but for the confident, yes. Also, I'm a huge fan of Eartha Kitt. Love her so much. I've done a painting of just like her when she was in her 20s. She's so cool. She has that kind of chaotic energy. Love that. And so one of the reasons that Edgar said they gave me Yzma was like the fashion connection. Like they're like, oh, you like fashionable ladies. I'm like, did you know that I also specifically love Eartha Kitt?
That kind of makes sense, though, because the other 2 characters you drew are like in these like dresses, like this fashion thing. We had so much fun talking with Casey Robin that we will continue our discussion with her next week.
Well, you have heard us talk about our great experiences staying at the Howard Johnson in Anaheim. Well, we have partnered with them to offer our listeners some pretty cool discounts. Weekly tiers can get 15% off their next stay. To take advantage of this, head on over to DLWeekly.net and click on the Howard Johnson logo. Be sure to use the promo code on our site to get the discount. And the other fun thing, too, check them out. That's where we're staying for the D23 event. We were very fortunate. Check with them since they are a little bit further from the expo. It might be possible that they still have rooms available. So if you're heading to the park soon, especially for D23, make sure you contact our friends over at the Howard Johnson and see if you can stay with them.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Hello, welcome back to Trivia Land. I have found my way through Rise of the Resistance based on your instructions.
Did you make it all the way, or was there like a section that you were like completely lost for a while?
We
find
made a
out.
slight detour at some point.
Oh, no.
I was wondering about that.
We'll get to that first. My question for you was from listener Jill M., who asked, in terms of distance, how long is the queue for Indy? You both walk a little bit more than normal people, apparently. You said a half mile. Jill says it's an eighth of a mile.
Oh, an eighth?
Eighth.
Dang.
That's okay.
It's
Okay.
just fascinating how that queue really just had to thread the needle of the Jungle Cruise and
Yeah.
Pirates to get out
Yeah.
to the show building. Like, no wonder
It's
it's such a
wild.
long and narrow kind of walkway through it. So,
We just walked there and back a few times.
yeah. You know, you just had to run through twice. Maybe you had to queue through all the Jungle Cruise stuff too,
There
and
you
that
go,
kind of
yeah.
adds up, right? So, all right. Question 2 from Andy M. Originally, the Winnie the Pooh birthday ride scene did not include a candle on the birthday cake. They took one from another attraction to fix that. And the Not Overthinker tag gets a point on this one. It's Haunted Mansion.
Oh.
It just seemed like there was a lot of candles there. That's all.
I would have thought
I-
that it like
Good job, Tag.
a spooky, right? A spooky candle versus like a Winnie the Pooh candle.
Well, they could paint it, make it look different.
I suppose. I was thinking a little more like they just like toot, toot, like picked it up and
right.
plopped
I'm sorry,
it on
like
there.
how?
I am very curious now about how many candles, if there are candles in Alice, or if we're just putting them there.
It's like the banjo player that doesn't exist on Pirates.
That is true.
There is no banjo.
I've ridden that attraction afterwards, and it's clear that there's no banjo there, but my brain does not want to believe it.
Yeah.
Well, you hear the banjo music, so it just makes sense.
Yeah. So what's up with that?
On our last trip there, when I had my
Stop
solo
looking
day,
ahead.
I rode it, and I heard him play Yo-Ho Yo-Ho, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard that played on the banjo before. So it was fascinating for me on that one. Question 3. From both Ryan P. and Chrissy A., there are 2 things in every room, and It's a Small World. What are they? And if you want to, what's the importance to the theme of the attraction? You are correct with sun and moon, because no matter where we live, we all live on the same planet under the same sun and the same moon.
I am just fascinated that they turned this in the same week.
Golden star. So yeah, it's just one moon and one golden star.
Sun.
Technicalities, Teresa. You want me to take the points away from you?
No. He said there's just one moon and one golden sun
It
was the
is.
lyrics. And after I'm like, I thought it was star. So now again, it's got me thinking like, what is it? Huh. See? It's another one of those lovely things where your brain thinks it's one way, but it's a different way.
It's true. It's true.
Though the mountains divide and the oceans are wide, it's a small world after all. Sorry. We've sung other things. I can sing
Yeah.
this.
Just going to keep on doing that. So, but yeah. Last question from me. I asked you to put Rise of the Resistance in order after Ray gives you the briefing. I had a more condensed answer than what you were going with, but I appreciated all of your detail. So you were mostly correct. You get onto the Resistance shuttle. You get taken into the First Order landing bay, through the detention hallway into the cell block. Then the Resistance brings you to the escape room. You go through the first primary quarters of that where you see the other droid, the probe droid. From there, after the stormtroopers shoot at you, you go into the AT-AT room. Because you go up the elevators when Finn says, up, why are you going up?
Yep.
And then you find yourself pulling into the bridge.
Okay.
That's why you have to take the elevator down after the bridge when Kylo Ren jumps down at you. Because you're trying to go down to the escape pods.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then after that, you are right with the gun room, into the escape pods, down to the unloading area, and eventually making your way to Bot 2. But you were very close enough that I'm giving you the points for that one, because that was a very thorough description of Rise of the Resistance.
I love how you were like, you were like, I don't need it to be that, like, whatever, but then we totally
You just
made it
went
that
for
way.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's just best to play it safe, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, good week for you too. You got my question right even, so you can't even blame myself for hard questions anymore, even though the last 2 weeks that I did trivia were kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Great listener questions, even those in sync with each other sending the same question.
That's wild.
That is
so
wild. I wonder if there was was there somebody's YouTube video or something where they talked about it and they both watched the same video and then they're like, that'd be a great trivia question.
I don't know.
For the who was it again? It was
Ryan and Chrissy.
Ryan and Chrissy. Send us a message and let us know what inspired you for this question so we can see if both of you were inspired by the same thing, because that would be crazy.
It was a couple weeks ago, so we'll see how well they remember what inspired the moment.
Sure.
Still wild, though.
Yeah. So be like Ryan and Chrissy, send in the exact same question as someone else, because we will love that this happens multiple times. Or just send us something creative, then producer Vernon and I can ask it. You can submit all of your questions on our website, dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.